Right now.
Right now.
Welcome to another daily motivation writing stream. I'm your host, Kaufman, and today we're going to get in a solid writing sprint. I'm going to try to see what we can get into. I'm going to push through on my book, The Last Scarecrow. What are you working on? I would love to hear. Drop a comment. Welcome. And we're going to get straight into it. So I'm going to throw up some music on the screen. I'm going to push myself into this next chapter, and let's try to see if we can make some progress. As you can see, I have my writing software all set up. I'll join you in the chat if you have any comments. Hey, what's up, ML? Great to see you, my friend. Hope the writing vibe is treating you well. All right. And I was making some awesome progress yesterday with Scarecrow, and I'm feeling pretty good about how this chapter is starting to shape up. So we'll see. I'm doing a partial revision on this one section as the fighting gets underway. All right, my friends. As you can see, I have my writing software all set up. So let's get into it. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, revising, or something in between, come join us because it's time to write now. All right, and that is the writing sprint. Hopefully you were able to get some progress in there as well. It's really annoying. I'm at this part in the story where I start getting into the sprint, but then I run out of time. My time's so limited these days. I'm at the point where I need to do an all-day writing sprint. What are you gonna do? But alas, this I'm having fun. I'm having so much fun with this chapter. I love the layout of this chapter, but I'm definitely concerned the portion of this part of the scene is taking a little too long. I'm gonna have to fix it in post. Oh man, let's see, math. So let's see, missed the last part. Let's see. Does anyone, Ashley, you said, by the way, Ashley, welcome. Glad you hopped in. You said, does anyone have any tips on how to develop plot? That is a good question. You said, does anyone have any tips on how to develop plot? I absolutely have a lot of great tips. Okay. So I think there's a couple ways that you can go about it, Ashley. I love, love, love plotting out stories. I tend to think of plot and story based on character development. I really think about your plot is contingent on the story and the character journey that you want to tell. So if, let's say, you're writing a story about what genre do I have that going? All right, we're gonna write a story about a ghost, right? And you're like, okay, you really want to relate, and maybe you have a message. You want to say that ghosts are really cool and supernatural things are real. And the message I want is that, you know what, life's short and you just got to live life and do your best. Now, if I was trying to come out with a plot for this ghost, I would always ask myself, what would be the most intense, or what is the most intense moment in this ghost's life? Who would be my protagonist? Now, what is the most intense moment? The character dying is the most intense moment. The character fighting some bad guy is the most intense moment, them falling in love, so on and so forth, right? Because stories are an extreme moment. It's like the craziest moment of your character's life. Once you've figured out the most craziest moment of your character's life, then you can work a plot around whatever story you're trying to tell. Right. I like to, and then there's a lot of story structures. So you can come up with story ideas and story beats, of course. And there's a lot of story structure models like the 3-act structure, save the cat, yeah, there's a lot of story structures out there, and you can go check out, I mean, go like Google story structures if you're wanting like structuring. A method that I like to use what's called the be me model, which is something that I coined. It's basically called beginning, middle, end. It's a really easy way of structuring out your novel or plotting it out. Essentially, you want to ask yourself, what is the beginning story beat of your character's journey? What is the end story beat? All right, so if I was writing about a ghost, beginning story beat, let's just say the moment the ghost died. End story beat is the moment they pass into the afterlife, but it's not really an afterlife. It's actually set up for a next story, but that's for a later book. So beginning, they die, end, they pass on. All right, so I had the beginning beat and the end beat. Now, how am I going to keep plotting it out? I'm going to do the middle beat. What is a halfway point between them dying and then them getting on to the next life, right? So let's see, that middle beat could either be a high point or a low point. High point, maybe they come back to life and the ghost thinks they're alive. If I wanted that to be a high point, or if I wanted it to be a low point, maybe they lost their best companion, or they lost some type of fight, or they lost something. So what I've done is now I've created a plot point for the beginning of the story, the middle story, and then the end of the story. And then if I want to keep coming up with beats, I just ask myself, what is a halfway point between each of those story beats? And then as you see, you can keep creating plot points in that direction. I think plotting is so much fun. And then if you're ever not sure, like, what should happen next, you want to ask yourself, what is the next major plot point that you want your character to get, that your character needs to get to? And then is the next story beat, should it be like a higher moment? Should something good happen to your hero, or should something bad happen to your hero? If you're like, you know what, I feel like there's like not enough action, maybe you need to write more characters. If you're like, maybe I feel like there's too much, maybe you need to get rid of a character. If you're like, my world feels kind of boring, maybe I need to add more story, world building elements. So I think you can work back by process of elimination once you've defined your main story beats. So yep, that's my plotting 101. I should probably do like a whole actual video on plotting actually, because I love talking about plotting. Love talking about story beats and plotting. It's actually one of my favorite things, and it's why I am really good with coaching. And by the way, if you're ever looking for like help with your individual coaching as well, Ashley, I also do one-on-one writer coaching. I offer huge discounts for first-time coaching. So if you're ever looking for it, you can find the details for the sign-up form down in the YouTube description. But one of the things, usually when writers come to me for coaching, they either come to me for skill building because they're trying to improve their writing, or they're working on a story and they need help developing. I'm usually able to help writers develop their entire story because it comes very naturally to me based on whatever it is the writer's looking for. So let's see. Sean. Hey, what's up, Sean? Good to see you on the stream, my friend. You're like, do you plot with index cards? You know what? Index cards could probably be a way. If you're asking me, like, what are the physical things I do? I love using whiteboards. I should use a writing software. Like, there's writing software that's probably makes the process easier. But I'm so old school and like I just write it all down, like bullet points in a Microsoft Word document. I'm a visual person. I like to write down the plot points, the beats on a whiteboard. I just love whiteboards. There's probably more efficient ways, and I'm sure I'll do it at some point in the future. Yeah. I know, Masters. I've heard that as well. There's no original story, but what makes it interesting is the character in the story. Absolutely. But on that note, my friends, I have to get going. Thank you all for hopping into the stream with me. I love seeing everyone. Wish I had more time, but Kaufman's got to go. So come back and join me tomorrow. I'll be back same time, same place. Oh no, actually, I think I'll be earlier tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 11th. We'll be streaming at earlier in the day. So 1 Pacific, 2, 3, 4 p.m. Eastern. Come join me for another writing sprint. And don't forget, Saturday is the next story and critique show. So if you're wanting feedback on your story, submit now. It's one of our most popular streams. You get a live reading and a live critique for free. The submission form is down in the YouTube description. And most importantly, if you enjoyed the stream, tap that like button on your way out. Help us show the algorithms that writing streams are cool. All right, my friends, thank you for joining me. But unfortunately, you found yourself at the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. Words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write
now.
Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now.